G'day, film fans. It's the Australian takeover of Love of Cinema. Ryan here. I've brought in from Japan as a special guest because Jeff's away from John's on sabbatical for the weekend. So we've just watched the Snyder cut of Justice League, and we're two mega film fans. We thought, you know what? Let's fire this thing up and let's go. I mean, the other guys probably don't even know we're doing this. Ryan, how you doing, mate? How you doing?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good.
I love the Australia takeover of the podcast. You're in New York and I'm in Japan. So
Yeah.
Go Aussies.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to talk about this film because it has created a lot of chatter in the last couple of days. I didn't know that everybody had 4 hours spare in their schedules to
Right?
to watch this thing, but I'm surprised with how many people have actually gotten around to watching it.
Yeah, I mean, also tonight there is no buzzer, so we're just gonna, police ourselves. Hey, it is what 10 o'clock in the morning for you, so.
Mm-hmm. So it's coffee time.
So I mean, I think everyone's familiar with the Joss Whedon Justice League. I say Joss Whedon because I don't think Joss Whedon's a person anymore. He got cancelled.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure. Let's bring that up before we get into Justice League. It'll give people time to join us.
Well, so like if we want to sort of go down a bit of conspiracy theory route at the moment, and I don't want to make light of any of the accusations against Joss Whedon. I mean, self-confessed lover of Buffy, all things Buffy.
I mean, you can love Buffy and hate Joss Whedon. It's fine.
This is true, yeah. And honestly, sort of as Age of Ultron was kind of rolling out, I was like, it kind of lost its sparkle. And then when he took over from Zack Snyder, I was like, okay, we'll see what happens here. But I do think the timing of these accusations and the smear campaign about fuck Joss Whedon.
Okay.
Sorry. Maybe you're swearing.
No, swearing's fine. Swearing's fine.
Cool.
We put a warning on the page.
Brilliant. It's interesting timing. I'm not going to say that it was orchestrated, but it kind of is a little bit sweeter for Zack Snyder that I think these things are going on with Joss Whedon at the moment. And then Zack's like, and here's the film as it was supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, to his credit, he's kind of tried to stay out of that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as, I don't know how much news you've got over there, but a lot of Buffy stars have come out saying, it was kind of not cool. Justice League, of course.
The statement from Anthony Stewart Head was like that he didn't see it, but he feels like he failed because he didn't see it and wasn't able to sort of stop it or stem it.
Well, you know what? Anthony Stewart Head's a fucking gem, and all is forgiven. You can't stop what you can't see. Like, if you didn't see it, that's fine. If it was going on out of your wheelhouse, there's not much you can do about it if you don't know it exists.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I don't know if he now, in retrospect, if he was the best choice to go in and, finish this thing. And what's really interesting, having watched the 4 hour
time
cut
has
now,
proven that, really, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you have, and I wish I'd thought of it sooner. I started the Joss Whedon cut just about 40 minutes ago.
Oh, why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, I immediately, oof, like that was the immediate reaction of Superman showing up on the screen with the weird lip, talking to the kids.
I mean, Todd's just jumped in the chat and said, "Afternoon, lads." I guess it's afternoon in Australia. Tell your friends, Todd. Get everyone in here. Where the Australians have taken over this podcast or this show. I hear what you're saying about the Joss Whedon thing. It was like, I mean, it also it had the Moustache Gate thing go on, where that was just fucking horrifying to look at. And have you seen the full film yet?
The 4 hour cut?
The Joss Whedon one.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
absolutely. So yeah, on that, when it came out, I was like, I have to see this. It won't be bad. It'll still be great. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, as I've said to a lot of people, and I think I said it on the show last week, that when I walked out of Justice League, the original cinema screening, the first thing I said was, yeah, that was okay. I'd like to see the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of years later, I get my wish finally, and holy crap. because
Yeah,
like there's so
and
much stuff that just doesn't make sense, and there's whole different plot lines where it's just been like if you compare the two, it's the like fluff version of Justice League
yeah,
is the
and
Joss Whedon
it's
version.
jumbled. There's no. It doesn't feel like a lot of motivation is just for any of these characters. Like Cyborg just kind of shows up, and you're like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
And like you can see kind of now that we've seen the whole thing rolled out. Joss Whedon was trying to do a bit of jump cutting and making tenuous connections to things to just get it under the 2 hour time frame.
Well, I think that was actually one of the instructions he was given by the studio when he took it over. It was like get it under 2 hours,
That's why
and
it's
so
1 hour and 59
we're 1 hour
minutes.
59 minutes and 30 something seconds.
Yeah.
Yes, so that was him going, yeah.
Yeah,
But
but Joss did things like that family in so
yeah,
like
okay. For anyone who hasn't seen or hasn't seen the original, but we're gonna spoiler alert, full on. We're gonna spoil the
spoilers
crap out of
all the
this
way.
big time. Okay, so for anyone who hasn't seen the new one, like there's in the original screening of the film, there's this whole family that's trapped under the barrier that Steppenwolf creates in Russia. I guess it
Yeah,
is. They're
well,
not even that really
I
that
they
clear.
should know. Yeah,
Yeah. So there's this whole family that's trapped in there, and that gives the Flash something to do, pretty much at the end of the film. And like, I'm going to take issue with his characterization of the Flash a little bit later, but
hmm
yeah, that whole storyline is gone out of
hmm
this version. They're not even in the movie. That was like one of the reshoots that was done, and
yeah.
I'm so glad that that's gone. To be honest.
Well, I just didn't get it, and it felt like I remember sitting in the cinema saying, "Oh, this family and why we're so stuck on them is such a trope of Joss Whedon." Like,
Yeah.
try and think of the situation of how it affects other people, and then try and bring it into the main
Mm.
narrative that's happening. So suddenly we were episodically thrown into the plight of this family that we didn't care about, that weren't established, and why the hell were they living in Chernobyl or some?
Yeah,
But
I
then
mean,
again,
that's the thing. They
they
didn't
didn't
establish
establish.
that either. They
Yeah.
cut that out. I mean, my biggest gripe with the stuff that was cut was the Lois Martha scene. Like they
Yeah.
sat down and you get the same scene that you get in both cuts. It's the same scene basically, and
hmm
then like they have this conversation, but then of course Martha walks outside. And big spoiler, everyone. Last chance to hit pause. But yeah, Martha walks outside and turns into the fucking Martian Manhunter. Now, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. That's a huge thing to leave out of any version of Justice League.
hmm
Like, why would
Well.
you even have that scene in there? It doesn't make
hmm
sense unless you put it in the context of it was him giving her a nudge to go back, and
Yeah.
like yeah, there
Well.
were some.
Well.
It was like just like we got to fill some time. That and I still stand by that family was literally just to give Flash something to do because
Which so
yeah,
on that, why did we need to give Flash something to do? Because again, spoiler alert. If what was filmed was already filmed, because I don't think what they did with Flash for that big final act where he kind of saves the
we'll
day.
deal with that in a minute. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine that was already filmed and already in
Yes.
the script. Why would you take that out?
It
That
totally
was
like that leads into the next movie.
it was
And
to be honest with you, Dave. That at that moment, and then followed by the cyborg beat, I had unrealized tears coming out of my face. Not sad, sobbing like, "Oh my god," just like, "Oh my god, I'm seeing this on film." The the little tip to it with the mother box falling in the water again.
yeah,
Another one. Like, why did they come up with this whole like you've got to get it just as it hits the water? Just adding drama for no
yeah,
reason. Flash missing it and then doing that little reverse of time was like the nod to the Speed Force, and then that payoff in the final act. I was like,
yeah.
holy
It
shit!
sets up that this is what it like. Yeah, this so like the one thing I can bring out of this is this, and like a lot of people are going, I don't want to sit there and watch a 4 hour movie. That's fine. There's title cards
Yeah.
because it was going to be episodic. It was going to be a TV
Mhm.
show, but then there was something to do with lawyers going, "Hey, if it's a TV show, it's not a movie. Can we get out of some of these contracts?" And
Yeah.
he kind of went, "No, it's a movie again." Again, that's one of the stories I read in the press. Anyway,
Mhm.
but yeah, there's still the episode cards are still there, so it divides itself up into four very nice sections. So you can watch a section, come back the next day and watch a section if you can stop,
Yeah.
because like it is just a ride. This one is like, and it's unapologetically a ride, but there's also a shitload of character development. The thing I come out of this with is that there's just context, so much context from what I've
Everything
already
makes sense.
seen. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You go in retrospect. Okay, did he walk back to the film and shoot a whole bunch of stuff and go, "Oh yeah, these were the things like that I missed"? No, he didn't. He only
No,
shot like 4 minutes, which is
the
mainly
end.
that
It's the
epilogue.
end. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at it, you go, "Oh my god, what we have here is this Joss Whedon jumble that, yeah, made it under 2 hours, but what that no one has any reason for doing anything." And then there's this other massive version that will be an editing nightmare. But every part of the story makes sense. Every character has their motivation,
Mm.
and like we said, knowing that that place was so toxic that that was the perfect place for Steppenwolf to create the
It's
huge
a
lungs.
throwaway line. That was a
Yeah,
2 second line. You could have left that in, although then
yeah,
you couldn't have the family living there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's get rid of it. Out it goes.
Yeah.
Um, and I keep hearing like one of the main things. I love trying to meet people on an equal playing field when we're discussing things and have
I mean,
opposing opinions.
DC is so polarizing too. People love to hate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But what I've loved lately is I feel like we've this is a not film related thing, but I feel like we've lost the ability to sort of stand in the middle of that playing ground and consider both options. But often when you're discussing with someone, you're like, but what about this beat and the emotion and the motivation that led that character to do that? And then someone goes, it's too long. And you go, oh, okay, cool. I'm not talking to someone who's going to, go on
Yeah.
this equal conversation with me. All right, cool. So I've heard a lot of it's just real long and real draggy. Why is that, guys?
Hmm.
His daughter committed suicide during the filming. He had to leave the film. Then Warner Brothers brought in the guy, just like, who could we get to replace Zack Snyder? Hey, those Avengers films did well. Let's get Joss Whedon
Well, actually, he
because
was
he knows
he
how
was
to do
already
these
in
things.
the studio, doing pre-production on Batgirl, which then got cancelled.
Yeah. So he had a cancelled DC property.
Yeah.
But so this guy comes in, looks at the script and looks at what's been filmed and goes, no, 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 no. I can get it under 2 hours and screw this guy who has shot all this beautiful, incredible cinematic stuff
Yeah.
and made the story so well played out. No, no, no. I'll just make my own film. Why do you think it drags, guys? Do you think when the fans go, we love this guy's vision for this universe, that he kind of goes, you know what? Let's leave it in. Let's have that Icelandic hymn play for an extra 30 seconds. If that pisses you off, you're missing the point.
Yeah. I mean, that was my only like criticism of it, is that there are some scenes that do, sure, he hangs on it just that little bit long and it affects the pacing, but in also when they were editing this, the plan was to make it into 4 episodes of television,
Yeah.
not a 4 hour movie. So like, yeah, that's going to be there. Those extra little moments are going to be there, and I don't think it's suffered for it. Like a lot of people are like, give me pace, give me pace, give me pace. DC takes its time.
Go watch the Whedon cut if you want pace. That thing was frantic and strange and all over the joint. This one
Yeah.
ebbed and flowed to me. Like I never had 4 hours just disappear as quickly as it did with that. I felt like, yeah, there was moments of padding.
Mm.
But
I
if you're a
mean,
fan of Zack Snyder,
technically it's a 3 hour movie if you take out the slow motion.
yeah. But that's why that's a Zack Snyder
It
trope. That's
really
something
is,
that,
yes.
yeah. And like, if we want to see um Ray jump over like a guy on a football field in slow motion, while it's kind of lightly snowing, I'm
Yeah.
all for it. It was beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I mean, some of this is like it's almost like it's holding on a comic book frame, and it's like, you got it, and like, this is a
Mm.
moment, take a moment because something else is coming in a second.
Yeah.
and it's like
Now,
I feel now this is the
you
cut. Yeah.
you said it. The frame.
Mm.
That maybe I got a few like things. I'm not going to just fanboy and praise because you haven't pressed the gush at all yet at this point.
Well, we
Um,
agreed no buzzers and gushes.
no, no buses. Um, brilliant. But I one little gripe is the aspect ratio. I just found that to be really strange.
Okay, well, here's a funny thing. When I saw Justice League, I went to the Lincoln Center Cinemas here in New York, and
Hmm.
I was in, like, I think it was Cinema One, which is the one of the older cinemas that still has a balcony.
Right.
And
Cool.
that my screening was in 4:3.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Of
So
the
of
Whedon
the
cut.
original cut, yeah.
Oh,
My
okay.
my screening was in that aspect. So when I saw
Right.
this, I was like, you know what? And it that did not bother me in the slightest at all.
Yeah, I
I
think it was just
understand
during
why it
some of
bothered a few other people, but
yeah. It kind of felt like because I'm trying definitely to cure my old habit of watching thrifty cuts of films. It made me feel like I was watching like a leaked version of it. But I'm like, no, I'm logged
yeah.
into
No,
HBO Max.
you
It's
would have picked if it was a leaked version because a guy walks through the foreground every now and then. The camera focuses on him instead. Yeah.
my mate in China was like, oh yeah, I didn't like it. It dragged. I was like, hang on, it only got released like 4 hours ago. What are you talking about? It dragged. How have you formulated your opinion? He's like, I watched it 2 days ago. And I'm like,
Ah.
what? He's like, yeah, it leaked in China. Like, yeah, there's a whole like hard coded
Well,
subtitled version. He's like,
HBO accidentally leaked it the week before with Tom and
I,
Jerry.
I was like 2 hours too late. I clicked on Tom and
Ah.
Jerry, and I'm like, this doesn't look like. I'll watch 5 more minutes. No, it's
No,
Tom and Jerry.
no, it's definitely. What, you couldn't tell the difference between Tom and Jerry and Justice League?
Well, I wasn't sure what Zack Snyder was gonna do.
Yeah, you know what this is missing? More Flash, more Cyborg, and a cartoon mouse.
Well, so they did a lot more effect shots for this cut during the process of getting it back to release. I don't know what level of effects they were going for. So 2D Tom and Jerry could have been like just placeholders for
True.
Cyborg. Cyborg's now a cat,
No,
guys.
that's the Whedon cut. Yeah.
So Cyborg.
Oh yeah, Cyborg in the Whedon cut, like,
Yeah.
literally had a hoodie on for
Yeah.
most of the film, like, so they didn't have to do the special effects. And I
Mhm.
think that's where a lot of that extra money they threw went, because like
Oh, yeah.
and also, like, whoever did, I don't know if they were motion tracking his performance. If they were motion tracking his performance, what he was doing with his legs were amazing.
Yeah, he had one weird movement where he turns around to Diana
Hmm.
and goes something like this, yeah, and I was like, we're getting a bit overacty here,
Yeah, yeah. I
but
didn't even
generally,
notice
like,
that.
right, yeah, the effects on him were insane.
Yeah,
But I mean, tell me, did did the Ray Fisher, that's his name, right?
yeah,
I should know this.
it is.
The Ray Fisher Joss Whedon thing, like, was that because of him basically being cut out the film, or was it a result of them having tension? Like,
No, there was definitely tension in there as well.
yeah,
A few people have come out and said that, and so yeah, there was tension, but also, yeah, his whole fucking role was cut for the film. I mean, so was the Flash. I mean, we'll go on Cyborg. I'll get to Flash in a minute, but yeah,
yeah,
Cyborg's whole role pretty much was cut from the film, except for like a little like gimmick at the end,
yeah.
and also, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember rightly, and you probably have seen it more recently than me, but in the Whedon cut, he does the booyah thing, right?
Yeah.
His dad just died.
Yeah.
He's not going to throw out a booyah right now.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like waiting for it in the Snyder cut, and I'm like, no, this is entirely appropriate. Like, he's fucking angry,
Yeah.
and his character, like, it really, like, why was that cut out? It added so much to the film. I can only imagine it was for pace, and it was like,
Well,
yeah, he's
I think
like a centerpiece.
yeah, and that's exactly the thing. First thing, I think Snyder's quote, after they asked if Cyborg was still going to say "booyah" was "fuck no." um,
I agree.
yeah, I do too. But I think this is the thing. Again, some of the choices that we'd made. I mean, I just watched the first 5 minutes and was actively going, ugh. Um, I mean,
That's the
especially when
best
you've seen,
review ever.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you watch and how simply I think it's done as well with Zach. Watching Superman sort of die
Mm.
away, and then
Yeah.
and then going to the how it's sort of awakening the mother boxes in each of the different places. Really super cool. But going back to Cyborg, I think we missed the point that two of these heroes we've not met. Like we've seen Flash for
Yeah.
literally a flash.
Yeah.
So you got to do the hard yards on introducing these characters and make up as Titans with these other,
Hmm.
heavy hitter characters. Especially someone like Cyborg. Flash people know, the TV series is still going, I think.
Yeah. It is. It just kicked in again for season 7.
Great. That old thing will keep on kicking.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's a
Yeah.
great series.
I dropped off after a couple seasons, but
It gets better.
but
Come back to it.
Cyborg,
Yeah.
yeah, and I take that recommendation because I started on Doom Patrol, and again, Cyborg's on there,
Yes.
but again, Cyborg on Doom Patrol hasn't put Cyborg on the map as big as the trifecta of Batman,
Hmm.
Superman, Wonder Woman, and Flash in there as well. So you got to do the hard yards with it, and I feel like Snyder laid it out beautifully. The tension between the dad and the
Yeah.
son, and even the dad's like approach to when they're at the hospital and you just found out your wife is dead, and you just have to accept that information. I was like, oh, he doesn't seem to be distraught enough. And then they're like, and your son's not going to make it. And he turns and looks at him, and the way that actor cries, I mean,
Hmm.
he's burned in my memory. That's the dude from Terminator 2, who dies real painfully from
Yes.
like the gunshot wound. He plays like pain beautifully. Yeah, so Joe Morton, that's his name. So when he looks at Ray on the bed and starts just to sob, I was like, man, I'm broken for you. And his whole thing of like, I maybe wasn't present, but I was doing all of this for you. I thought I was doing the right thing. I was trying to be your dad, but you know, I've my whole life I've trained to be a scientist, and then being a dad is something that you kind of step into, and sometimes you're better at the thing that you've tried to do your entire life. And he's like, I'm sorry that I failed you. And in his last moment, again, something that maybe was in the Whedon cut, I don't remember, but him heating up the mother box so that they could find it. Like
I don't think
it
they.
was,
I can't remember if they did establish that. That's what he
yeah.
was doing.
I don't.
I don't remember
If
that
they
bit.
did,
Like, yeah, by that point I was just like, holy, like, by that point I'd erased the Whedon cut from memory, and
but I think that's the point, Dave.
yeah,
We don't remember why he died in the Whedon cut. They might have even said it, but we
yeah,
don't know why
yeah.
because
By that
we
point
didn't care
it
about
was
him.
so disjointed. It was yeah. You
Yeah.
none of that was built up, and that's the one thing I really do love about the Snyder cut is it feels like a journey, like, and it is a
Hmm.
journey like worthy of these characters. Like they take their time getting there, but when they get to the payoff, they get to the payoff after so much hard work. Like
Hmm. Yeah.
Justice League, like the original Justice League, rushed the hell out of it, and you got there and you're like, oh, okay, and then
Yeah.
and also I'm sorry, let's just jumping back for a second. When we get to Wonder Woman and she grabs one of those terrorists and throws him up the wall and it leaves a blood stain and a hole in the wall, I'm like, okay, Wonder Woman just iced a terrorist in front of a group of kids.
Yeah. Like that.
Shit is
So
real in
yeah,
this movie.
I I for one appreciated the violence, the step
Yes.
up in
And that's
violence.
the same with
Um.
Batman versus Superman, the director's cut, the R-rated cut. It is a better film
Hmm.
because of it. Like when Batman hits
Hmm.
people, he's like when you get the sense that he's going off the rails. He's killing people because there's blood everywhere.
It seems to be a fashionable thing because not to jump it to over to Marvel for a second, but like I watched the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and in the first scene, I'm like, so So Falcon just straight up murders people now? Is that okay? Cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess I
we're
saw that the
killing
other
we're killing
night.
people. It's fine. It's he had it coming.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, so Wonder Woman just like icing these guys, and then like doing the gauntlet thing and
Yeah.
blowing the windows out of the museum. I'm like, wasn't that what you were trying to avoid doing?
Yeah.
uh,
I mean,
sure.
the cops down the bottom would have been like, "Oh fuck, the bomb went off," like, and then
I
everyone's fine.
there's
But
so
yeah,
many like the troll in me wants to see so many short films made that are like sister pieces to this film, which is the cops on the ground after that kind of like gauntlet moment. The three cops, like Wonder Woman looking out and seeing three cops on the ground, like impaled by debris and going, "Ugh,
oops. I'm sure.
sorry."
I'm pretty sure you'll see that turn up on Robot Chicken somewhere in the next couple of months.
Well, the other one is Batman. When they all when Superman first arrives and Lois is there, which makes so much more sense. And they have
Yes.
the battle. My favorite thing is that he stands in front of Aquaman, Cyborg, Wonder Woman, and Flash, and fights him. And then Batman like rolls out from behind the Hummer,
Yeah.
and I'm like, that was Batman just going, "Wait up, guys, hang on, where you going?" I really wanted Ben Affleck to be like, and then the next scene, they're back. They've seen Steppenwolf, and he's back at the lab. Again, all the other guys get there first, and Batman rolls in like a moment later. And again, I just wanted to see Ben Affleck going, can someone fly me over next time?
Dude, I know. I feel like Ben Affleck was like Batman was like, dude, the last time he saw me, he was pretty pissed. So I'm just gonna hide behind this Hummer and see what the read the room, and then I'm
He's
coming out.
scanning those
Like,
guys.
yeah, yeah,
I'll hang back here.
yeah,
He
yeah.
might think I'm a cop. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, okay.
Um,
So I want to touch on Flash for a second because there
yeah,
was
let's go.
so much more Flash in this movie.
Mhm.
Um, and when I the Whedon cut made Flash really whiny and a little bit of a coward, and sure there was a little bit of growth there where he's like, I don't know how to save people, I'm not a hero, and like he overcame that, whatever. But this one I felt they cut all that out. Like none of that was there, and
Mhm.
Flash just did his thing. And I feel like that was a much better, and especially when it gets to the point where we get to the end, where it's all on Flash, like everything's gone horribly fucking wrong. Because like I paused this because like you got to pee a couple of times in a 4 hour movie, so I paused
Yeah.
this and I walked in and like Therese is like she's done with superhero films at this point, so she's reading a book somewhere, and I walked in and went, I don't think they're gonna win.
Mhm.
Like this is looking like they're gonna lose.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it all goes to hell, and the only person left standing is Flash, and he has to like overcome and save everything basically. And that
Yeah.
sequence is just amazing, and it's like again, that is what you expect out of the character. Like, why would you reduce a character so much, especially one
It
that
was
you
the
want to have a spin-off film for?
Yeah, and I just felt like that was the MacGuffin of the film. Like that was what it was all kind of leading towards. They set up this massive finale, like battle, which in the Whedon cut, I was like, I don't get what they're fighting for. I don't know what's happening. The battle was big and as epic as it needed to be, but the moment was Flash really like breaking his rules, and
Yeah.
realizing that he has to kind of save the world to get everything back on track. And again, his purpose to get his dad out of jail. Like just think about that. And it's always been something that's interested me with Flash. He can run in that jail any day of the week and vibrate his way through the walls and
Yes.
get his dad out. But he doesn't want to do that. He wants to do the right thing, and he wants to get the knowledge and actually legitimately get his dad out because his dad is legitimately innocent. So it all makes sense, and it was such a beautiful moment. And seeing the Speed Force and seeing like the ground,
Rebuild.
rebuild underneath
Yeah.
his steps while he's sort of running. I mean, it look,
It was pretty
there are
much
some-
it was pretty much the Superman the movie ending, but
Yeah.
with the Flash.
yeah, pretty much.
But also with 2021 fucking technology.
Yeah, and I mean, look,
Yeah.
there are some comparisons to Avengers, and there's arguments to be made for
I mean, yeah,
which
okay.
film was made first.
No, let's go with which comic was made first, because Thanos was based off Darkseid.
Yeah,
They ripped
yeah.
it off.
Well, I mean, yeah, they all have their crosses to bear with like changing
Yeah.
characters.
I
Or,
mean, everybody ripped off everyone's characters, and we got a really good movie, and then we got being all the Avengers series, and then we got, the Snyder cut of Justice League. It's also a really good movie. Why do you need to bring one down to lift the other up?
Yeah.
That's the American way. Stop that.
Well, you're the American now, so but yeah, no, there's some comparisons, and I can see it, but it sets the scale, and honestly, the rules that are sort of put in play, everybody kind of knows by now because of the Endgame and Infinity War, so all good. But like where Avengers did the quick time change with the stone, making this a bigger moment and having the character like motivation really flow into it
Hmm.
really just made it quite dramatic and awe-inspiring. I was all for it.
Yeah, and also not to mention the fact that it's like once you've broken the rules, it gets easier to break them again, which sets up the Flash movie, which is going to deal with Flashpoint,
Yeah,
where
yeah.
he literally turns back time and erases everything. Like,
Which
so-
sadly I have not read,
oh,
and I
that's
just bought
that's a
it.
good one.
I have it in my,
The Flash series
works.
does a watered down version of Flashpoint,
Oh, okay,
which
cool.
which
Right.
is not too bad. But the basically the Flashpoint comic, if I'm not mistaken, um, Themyscira is at war with the Atlanteans, so Aquaman
Yeah.
and Wonder Woman are fighting. Superman was captured by the U.S. government instead of the Kents, and has been imprisoned in out of the sunlight, so he has no powers and is a wreck. And Bruce Wayne was killed in the alley, and his dad is
Yes,
Batman and is killing
yeah.
people as vengeance. And so, considering they already set up the casting of his dad, who is the guy who plays Negan on The Walking Dead, I would love to see that guy don a bat suit.
Yeah, man. And well, that's Jeffrey
Dean Morgan, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was a comedian. He's
Yeah,
Zack Snyder. like, staple.
he's everything you love.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
awesome.
Um, yeah,
I with the Flash thing as well. The humor, I still loved that most of the humor in the film was stemmed from Barry Allen, and so the lines that felt a bit weird, like yeah, my superpower is I'm rich. It was involving Barry, so it sets that kind of tone.
yeah,
But I didn't think that like he was playing for comedy. I kind of got I'm awkward. I have these abilities. My father figure's been jailed my whole life. I'm a bit of a socially awkward character, and it was nicely played. I thought.
yeah. And there's a couple of redeeming things. One was this movie where you finally got to see all of his story. Another one is in the Flash series with Grant Gustin, who is an amazing Flash. There is one section where they touch on the multiverse, and
I saw that.
Ezra Miller turns up in the series. Yeah.
I saw that cross. And the guy's dad obviously was the Flash.
Yeah. He turns
So-
up. He turns up a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Well, actually, I love that Billy Crudup is his dad in this. I heard
Not
though,
anymore.
that he's not
Yeah.
going to reprise the role. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is sad. But he was obviously a Dr. Manhattan. And Carla.
I forgot about
I
that.
can't say hello. She's the voice of the computer, which these Zack Snyder staples. Here's one thing that I will say, and it's good that we're saying it an hour and 6 minutes into this conversation. I pump like Zack Snyder. I'm a fan. I feel like he's the Michael Bay with taste, or the Michael Bay that went to film school. Michael Bay probably went to film school. Let's be honest.
I mean, does he? He said he works without a shot list. So
yeah. fuck the rules.
Yeah.
But so
that's fine. Give your cinematographer a fucking heart attack.
Yeah, nobody knows what's going on, but throw an explosion on it, we'll be right.
Yeah, where do you want your camera? Over there. Yeah.
Just do this. Just do this while you're holding it, and we'll figure it out. Yeah. So I actually really love Zack Snyder. So give me all the slow motion. Give me all that. but a lot of people hated Sucker Punch. I just loved it because it was mindless.
Yeah.
And 300, and so,
I
but
saw
he's
all of 300. I only ever saw, I think, two-thirds of Sucker Punch. I never got to the end of it. But I think
yeah,
that was because I started watching it and then had to go and do something, and I just never came back. And by the time I came back, it was gone.
it felt like a rock concert to me. Just it was super cool,
it
like a
was it was
comic book
definitely a
rock concert.
niche thing, that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I just love that he has his actors and people that he always sort of brings back in. Um,
Oh yeah.
he seems like a good guy, and I'd love to work with him, and I'd love to have a
Yeah.
Zack Snyder slow motion
I
shot.
yeah. I just love
Yeah.
to be in his vicinity, right? It's like in the circle somewhere.
Hmm.
Um, what was this stuff that made you laugh in this?
Uh,
I mean, there's a couple of things that
Look,
made me laugh. There's a couple of things that I was like, oh, come on, which is great because like this, you get that in a Marvel film, you get that in almost anything, but they made me go, oh, come on, in a good way a lot of the
yeah.
times, and yeah. So what about you?
I I laughed at, like, I kept just thinking, oh, Cyborg's a big fan of Spider-Man. He's like got Doctor Ock, you know,
Oh yeah,
arms.
yes,
He's got Spidey senses, which was really inconsistent. Like there were plenty of moments where Ray Fisher was in a bit of danger, and his auto defenses, his Spidey senses didn't go off. But
yeah,
when
no.
Superman's scanning you, well, yeah, it'll happen now.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Superman might attack me. All right, yeah, if there was a time to kick in the defenses, that's fucking it. Like when
Yeah,
when
yeah.
when Superman's posturing at you. I had a couple. I had a couple. I must admit, during the Amazon sequence, Indiana Jones has ruined me for sliding under door shots.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I was just
But Connie Nielsen, man.
drop something and reach back for it. Go on. Like I have a friend who is a member of the Amazons. I mean, a colleague I worked with years ago, but yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was. I mean, that was the only time where I was like, bah, but it was only because it was like there was my own psychosis there, not anything else. The one
I
thing I
loved. Show them your fear. We have no fear.
yes, the one thing I will point out though. So we have these three mother boxes,
Mhm.
and the Atlanteans are like, "We'll forge a mighty barrier," and the Themyscirans are like, "We'll seal it in an impenetrable tomb," and the men are like, "Hey fellas, let's dig a hole and chuck it in," and then Cyborg does it again.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like, what the fucking humanity's doomed.
yeah, yeah. And then his dad puts it in a jacket. He'll never find it.
We're not
Yeah.
good at hiding things. I think we've established this. Like, yeah, give it to the superheroes. Don't let the normal people handle it. We're just going to put it in a hole or a jacket.
We've got to bury it like a grave. Good,
Yeah.
good. I, yeah, I found it kind of funny, like the whole Sadi. Was his name Sadi? Or Desad was the name of the guy who Steppenwolf kept talking to. I was like, so they're making this whole big thing about like coming to Earth.
Yes.
Then in the final act, they just open up a portal and they're just like there.
Hmm.
Wasn't that easier than turning yourself into this, like warping from this weird metal? Shouldn't you just popped in, like made
Yeah,
the portal,
open the
popped
portal.
over?
Yes. I don't know. Maybe they could only open the portal once the boxes were in play. I don't
Look,
know.
I feel like if you're 5 minutes down the road, calling you on the phone is fine because that's quite convenient. But warping yourself into this metal, just jump,
It's
just
gonna
jump
be
in the portal
uncomfortable.
and
It's like-
yeah, yeah. My other thing is like, so they weren't horns on Steppenwolf's head. So when Superman fucking
yes.
just,
Fucking heat
I'm
goes
gonna
into the
chop off
head.
half your head.
Yeah.
Was that brains in that, or was that bone? Because there was skin on it.
It's
So I'm
got to
just
be
trying to, like,
bone. It's got to be bone. Like brain. If there were brains, he would have gone a little, see a music or something. But it's like,
well, he had blue eyes, so
yes.
I could have gone for, yeah. There are a few things there. Darkseid, I thought that they did well with Granny Goodness, just kind of having her there, not bringing a lot of like focus to the name. Although I read that the hot dog stand that was hit in the Flash scene actually says Granny Goodness, like hot dogs or something,
Oh, cool.
which was cool. Um, but yeah, there are a couple of things in that final battle. I do still think that the
Also,
parademons
do you
are
remember?
like
I mean, the parademons were okay. Do you remember the? Do you remember in the Joss Whedon cut the final battle? They didn't actually kill Steppenwolf, did they?
oh geez, that
Because he,
I honestly
I
cannot
mean,
remember how that
yeah,
film ends.
text me tomorrow and let me know when you finish watching it. But and I mean, to again, spoilers, major spoiler, but like he gets Superman heat vision to the head. Like they fucking punch him through the air, and then Wonder Woman
Trident
cuts
through
his
the chest.
trident through the chest, and then Wonder Woman cuts his fuck. Everybody has a go. Like she cuts
Yeah.
his fucking head off with a sword. He lands, his head rolls under Darkseid's foot. It's like holy shit, dude. Like
Well,
I mean,
they
but that's the appropriate response to someone trying to take over
absolutely
your planet.
and so speaking on this, they did what I've always wanted the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to do. They have these weapons.
Yeah,
Like
stab
Raphael
someone.
has
Fucking
size.
stab someone.
And yeah, Leonardo's got these swords, and we're watching a kids show. I know, but he's got these swords, and you never see him stab a motherfucker.
But even in Michael Bay, like
Yeah,
even in the Michael Bay version, he doesn't stab anyone.
yeah, just clang them together, make some sparks. Ooh, and then
Yeah,
kick a dude. No, fucking cut his head
yeah,
off.
cut someone.
Thank you,
Cut
Wonder
someone.
Woman. Yeah, and dude, like when the trident goes through, and you see like Jason Momoa. Jason Momoa is just having so much
He
fun. Like
was.
even that moment on the steps where he's like, oh, and looks at Flash and just goes, mm. I was living for it. He's having fun.
Yep.
Um,
He's like,
yeah, that was cool.
yeah.
Just chop his fucking head off.
Didn't-
And but the best thing was Darkseid, and I did like the dynamic between those characters, like where he's like trying to impress him, and but Darkseid, like the head lands at his foot, and Darkseid just goes, "Oh, you know what I'll do? I'll crush it."
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm just an asshole.
I fucking had enough of this guy. I'm crushing your head.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I did love bits of the nightmare sequence.
Yeah.
I
Before you
feel
get
like
to that,
Joe
I just want to point out one thing. Strikers Island. When we get to Strikers Island with the fight with and they go down into the tunnels and they park the whatever that thing was, the creepy crawly thing that crawled up the walls.
wall, yeah.
Yeah.
Things are cool.
And then it cuts to okay, so we got to go up here, and it cuts to a clip of all of them walking up. There's not a single fucking character in that scene that had to walk up those stairs.
Well,
Wonder Woman can literally fucking fly. Batman has the thing. Flash can just up walls. Cyborg can
Yes.
fly. No one had to walk up those fucking stairs.
that weird shot of Superman like reaching, not Superman, who was it at that point? I think it was maybe Aquaman or someone, reaching down to lift poor Batman, who's obviously grappled up but didn't grapple over the top. He's hanging on the ledge like looking real innocent.
Yeah.
What?
Sorry. Fucking batteries ran out.
Guys, someone help me. Yeah, it was.
I forgot to charge this shit.
So let's jump on to.
But yeah, I mean, I get it. They're all devices, but
Let's
still.
jump on to Yeah, it. I mean, yeah, it like. Let's by no means say that it was perfect. There's definitely things. And I think one of the big ones that's probably the biggest talking point is the epilogue, the nightmare sequence, the return to that.
Yeah.
I for one, like, I love the casting of some of these actors. People shit all over Jared Leto's Joker.
Yes.
I'd love to see that whole performance because I think what you've got is a fantastic actor, and I love Jared Leto.
I was actually
I think you got
tuned into a show this afternoon on Twitch, the Post Sanity guys I follow in the UK, and they had a big discussion about this, and they were the same mind. I'm like, yeah, dude, the version of Joker we got was after a lot of studio interference, and they put half the footage they shot on the cutting room floor.
Yeah,
Like there was enough
And
footage
people-
to make half another movie.
exactly. And let's release the what's his name, Goya? No, David Goya. Who was the guy
David
in
Ayer?
Suicide Squad? Yeah, let's go with that.
I don't know.
Let's release that cut.
Yeah,
Um,
it was. I think it's the
because-
Ayer cut. Yeah,
yeah. Goya Ayer. Yeah, all right.
yeah. Goya was the '80s, I think. I don't know.
No, Goya didn't Goya write like Batman Begins or something? I don't know. Anyway, beside the point. I think you've got a
Someone's coming at
fantastic
us after that.
actor. Yeah, dude. This was what's makes me so nervous about coming on the show about
We're,
saying
we're not doing research.
sorry guys.
This was a spur of the
Catch
moment
the
thing.
vibe. Catch the
Yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
But yeah, I think what you've got is an incredible actor trapped in sort of parameters that he has no control over. So people really hated the hot topic, like, emo version of Joker. I thought it was an interesting spin. Maybe not the best, sure, but an interesting approach.
That's proven. But yeah.
Yeah. But I
he made bold choices coming after, like, The Dark Knight.
absolutely, and
Honestly.
you had to.
Yeah,
because you can't replicate Heath's performance.
Yeah,
as the Joker.
it's like, Heath coming after Jack Nicholson.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you have to make fucking bold choices, and in Heath's case, they really paid off.
Yeah.
I feel like by the time we got around to Leto, everyone was like shitting on DC just for the fun of it. And
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not a bad characterization. It kind of takes a little bit of like Heath's performance and mixes it with Mark Hamill,
Yeah.
who voices a lot of the video games and stuff. He kind of did a mishmash of those two.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, great inspiration. But
Yeah.
like approaching the character differently. That laugh is creepy as hell.
Yes.
Yeah, I dug it. Like it was I mean, masturbatory. Yeah, absolutely. I think that whole epilogue was it fan service? Absolutely. Did it fit in the dynamic of the storytelling? Not really. But do I want to see more of it? Abso-fucking-lutely.
I mean, that was the setup because it was supposed to be a Justice League 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So that was the setup
exactly.
for 2. And yeah, they were supposed to deal with the whole going back in time thing and sacrificing himself. I read an article today where Snyder laid out what was going to be in 2 and 3. 2 was that whole back in time fixing it, and 3 was basically the end of the battle for Earth and introducing a new Batman, which is what the pregnancy test was, because Bruce Kent becomes the new Batman at the end, and and as they said, that's a big swing because that's outside the canon, outside mythology, everything. And I'm like, you know what? I would have liked to see that.
Absolutely. I love this universe. I don't think Batman vs Superman was the best, but I thought this was just a massive, correction for the ship. Yeah.
Again, I will stand by that the director's cut, which has a little more violence and a couple of extra scenes. Again, like context.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit more in there.
Yeah, it's funny. I thought Zack Snyder did really good work piecing together footage of Amber Heard's speech. I'm trying to make a joke here, and I'm killing it. She was talking about Johnny Depp. She's like, I want to put this through his heart. And they just put that on like a stand-in. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, it's a nuke morph node. It's
yeah. To be honest, the point I'm making, I thought was really interesting, just because of the all of the controversy around that case with her and Johnny Depp, to put her into the new footage. Because I don't know about you, but I'd be avoiding that.
At this point, I mean, she is in Aquaman 2. There was a rumor going around she was fired, and she hasn't been.
She was fired. Yeah.
But that is not true. She is still in Aquaman 2. And I mean, I don't like the thing is, like, it's a relationship that got very, very publicly aired. And it got publicly aired by the media, which is just gonna fucking eat themselves to make it, like, to keep you watching. So I don't know if it's as bad as they're saying or if it's not, and quite frankly, I don't trust a fucking word that comes out of a lot of people's mouths about that situation. Sometimes two people get in a relationship and they're just damn toxic, and they're not good for neither of them. They're good for each other. They both turn each other into horrible people, and I'm pretty sure at this point that was the case. Should both of them lose their fucking jobs because of that? No.
Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of people are doing. They're
Settle
like,
the
well,
fuck
he lost
down.
his job.
Yeah.
Yeah, settle down. Do you want to see him on screen anymore? That's your choice. But don't say, well, he got fired from Fantastic Beasts, so she should be fired from this. Just let it be. She was a great
Yeah.
Mira, and there was a moment though where they were talking. There was like a petition to get Amelia Clark as the replacement Mira
Hmm.
to kind of bring back that Game of Thrones connection, and I was all for it. But yeah, no, I thought the choices in the final scene to have Joe come back as Deathstroke,
Yes.
and the Flash having that weird
The
like
armor. Yeah.
that played back to Batman Superman appearance. I was all
Yes.
for it. It was fan service all the way, but I was good with it. And to see Superman back in the red and blue suit for
But
that
not.
moment,
But not good.
but not good. Yeah,
Not
and
good.
that's another thing.
Yeah.
So the I didn't know this until the other day, but the black suit. I thought that Snyder used it in a way that it was sort of like, even calling that episode something darker. It was Superman kind of not having the same approach, the naive approach that he did in the beginning. Guided by his dad and the morals, and from being a Kent. It was he felt different now, and so thematically they put him in the black suit. But the black suit actually is his power suit. It's a conduit. It soaks up the sun more. My friend Jason told me this yesterday. Um,
Sweet.
yeah. So
Hmm.
so that
I
shot where
mean,
he
yeah.
goes
If,
up.
if you go into battle with fucking Darkseid, that's the suit you need. Then.
Yeah, yeah. So that shot, it just make that shot. They don't explain it, and so you'd never know if you didn't know. That makes sense.
Hmm.
But that shot where he goes up in front of the sun, he's recharging, and that's because the suit is it's just a better battery for him than the other suit, which I
Yeah.
thought was really cool.
That is really
Didn't
cool.
know that. Yeah.
Um. A serious question. Which had more endings, this or The Hobbit?
I thought that. I definitely thought that. I was like, climax was a half hour ago, guys.
Yeah,
We can wrap
We
it up.
we won, and you're still ending
Yes.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I still stuck around for a post-credit scene,
I mean,
and
at
there
least,
wasn't
yeah,
one.
no, I fast forwarded through as well just to check, but at least, like he had the good sense to label it epilogue. It's like we're gonna wrap
Yeah.
everything up in this section, but like it's gonna be 5 fucking times. But
The best epilogue ever is still on the War of the Worlds, musical.
oh my god,
Wow.
everybody listen to that right now. Like when
That's
we're
a deep
done
cut.
when we're done here, go and listen to that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best. No, I actually on the credits for a serious for an
Yeah.
actual serious moment. Watch the credits. It's he dedicates the film to his daughter, and I don't know if you noticed, but on rewatch, there's a suicide prevention. I think his charity
Yes.
on the billboard when he speeds out with Barry in the car.
Hmm.
So he
There's
devotes the
there's
film to his
also
daughter.
one. I think they listed that in the credits as well.
Oh,
Further
really?
down, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, it says for autumn, but then the whole credits is Hallelujah, and I'm probably going to tell this story completely wrong, but I believe the girl that is singing it sang it at his daughter's funeral as his daughter's favorite song, but it is like half of it's just a musical
Wow.
interlude of Hallelujah, and then the vocals come in, and it gets to a moment quite beautifully at the end where the music sort of drops away and this girl is singing a cappella um, over the credits, and there's just such a profound, moving, touching feeling that you get. I was like, am I gonna cry over like the credits of a film? This is a new experience.
I
It was a
rightly
very, very
so. It's
beautiful.
it's it's yeah. It's not often you have a moment like this
Yeah,
where a director has come back from literally the pit of despair
yeah,
to
yeah,
finish like what you could probably call their opus.
yeah. And that whole credits is just catharsis, and just still a choice of a incredible filmmaker, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really, really moving, and I would like suggest that everybody just sit through those credits, because all those names too, like what a unique circumstance to come back to finish what was intended and started.
Yeah.
um Also, Junkie XL's soundtrack, I dug.
Yes.
There were some
Yeah.
really cool beats in there. Um, and Hans Zimmer's stuff in there was great as well. So yeah, I don't know, Dave. I probably love it too much, and people are going to be like, "Oh, you're just praising it."
No,
But
no,
I
fuck that.
I thought it was worth it.
It was a fucking cinematic effort. It was great. I thought it
Yeah.
was great. I sat there. I put it on because I was working from home on the day it dropped, and so I couldn't watch it until I finished working from home, which is absolute torture. And
Yeah.
so I finished working from home. I walked out and I said to my wife, "It's like I'm watching Justice League." And she's like, "Okay, I'm going to read a book." And so I put Justice League on, and I sat there for 4 hours, and I picked my phone up once
Yeah.
during the entire film. And like, granted, I paused it 3 times to go pee, but apart from that, like, it was just
Hmm.
a straight shot, straight through. And like, just stop finding things wrong with things and just enjoy what's presented. Like, this is a fucking work of art.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're not willing to, it's like people, who don't, a weird analogy, but people who don't know the story of Jonathan Larson and Rent and the tragic circumstances around him passing away the night before, the first public performance. So they go, "Oh, Rent, I don't like it," and you go, "Oh, okay, cool, that's fine," but don't shit on it, because if you're not willing to sort of go into the circumstances surrounding it and
Mm,
it getting made and existing, then don't worry about it. But don't shit on it. Stay away
yeah.
from it. Like
And
with
I mean,
this,
that's what we're about. It's even in the title, the love of cinema, and like,
yeah,
this is worthy of some love. I can tell you.
it is.
Yeah.
And if you're just gonna go, "Oh, it's another superhero film," and shit on it, then cool, that's fine.
Yeah.
But this version, the Zack Snyder cut, it's not about that. It's not about the fluff of being a superhero film. It's sure it is, and if you want to watch it like that, great, watch it. But if you want to go into why it exists now, the public push behind it, what the director did and was able to do, and go, "No, I'm gonna make it, you know, super long and add all the bits that you know, I'm not going to cut anything and leave anything on the cutting room
Mm.
floor. But this is what I wanted to make. Here it is, guys." And after all of the, he had
Also,
his
like, this,
vision
the release
disassembled.
of the Snyder Cut went on for years. Like, that movement
Mhm.
went on for years, and he just had the luck of suddenly HBO's come out and HBO Max has dropped, and they didn't quite get the membership they wanted, and
Yeah,
suddenly everyone's like, "Hey, HBO, release the Snyder Cut."
yeah,
And the timing just like lined up, like the fucking planets aligned, and
yeah,
we got this magnificent recreation of what should have been there in the first place.
yeah. So if you don't want to know any of that stuff, then great. You treat it like it's superhero fluff and shit on it. But if you do go in and learn, like, see what a weird situation, unique situation this is, and how beautiful it is that we finally got it,
Hmm.
then I think you'll have a different experience.
Yeah, I just, this has never happened before, right? Like, we've never had this
I think,
situation where like a film's been.
yeah, the Donna Superman 2 cut that came out in
Oh
like,
yeah, where they used half the footage
yeah,
from Superman 1. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Okay, that
um,
was, yeah, fair enough.
yeah, which I haven't watched myself. I just read that as a fact. Yeah, so it's pretty cool, and I think if you do go in for um, considering all those points, it's a whole different experience, um, and you
Yeah,
start to just look at it a little bit differently. And again, like you say, the love of cinema, enjoy it. Uh, It's
yeah,
great that there's a 4 hour. I
yeah.
mean, there's so much superhero content.
I
There's
mean,
so many comics
if there's one good
of
thing that's going to come out of streaming, it's that it opens the door for this sort of thing.
yeah, absolutely. Um, and you made a very good point too. I've watched, it's coming up on 250 films since May last year. I was hoping that I'd get
We're
like
gonna, dude, we're gonna have to give you
365.
your own fucking show once a week.
I need to turn it into something.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've noticed is my film viewing habits have changed exponentially. And a lot of times I start the film and I'll sit on my phone until the film kind of catches my attention. And then I'll still sort of, most of the times I'm putting a status up about the film while I'm watching it. This was the first time in a very, very long time I didn't touch my phone at all.
Mm.
And to not touching it over 4 hours,
Yeah.
That's
In this
a
day and
pretty
age
impressive.
with like phone addiction, oh holy hell, that's a big thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'm so glad we got to talk about this because I
Yes.
have been sitting on this. No one's really fully engaged with me about this
Right?
film yet, so it's nice that we're
Yeah,
doing it.
guys, this
And
was not a show. This was therapy for me and Ryan, so
yeah,
that we
well,
could get
it's
this out.
there's a bit of background though. So like Dave and I know each other from the Gold Coast in Australia. There's a theme park called Warner Brothers Movie World, and one of my first sort of projects where I was sort of lead creative was DC 75th anniversary, which is like a
Mm,
month or two event where we had new characters that had never been in theme parks before, a bunch of shows, and I researched the shit out of DC Comics. We already knew a lot and worked with Batman every day and drove the
yeah,
Batmobile.
I've driven three of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Just so everyone knows, the tumbler steers like a cow.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
But so there's a love of DC Comics that's sort of ingrained in the two of us,
Mm,
and so seeing this
yeah,
come to pass is
I
pretty
mean,
cool.
yeah, the workflow kind of went. Ryan brought me a script, and he was like, "Can we do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we can do that." And then I went away and got on the internet and went, "How the fuck do I do that?" So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, at that time we couldn't have Superman as a live character in the
that
park,
is
so
true. Yes,
we found a way to weave him
we
in.
faked him. We
Uh,
faked
yeah,
Superman.
yeah.
Superman fake out.
So there is a inbuilt. We
Yes,
probably should have established this at the beginning.
yeah, we probably should have. I hope you watched to the end because yeah, we're giving away all the stuff that should have happened at the beginning.
But yeah, it's just really lovely to be able to talk about it and geek out.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, it was a great film. I loved this film. I thought it was way better than like, and I mean, I bought Justice League. I have it on my Apple TV, and it would be really nice if Apple TV updated everyone with the Snyder cut who bought the
yeah,
original. That would be nice,
that,
Apple.
that'd be nice. Apple, Apple, Apple. Um, yeah, I was talking to my mate Jason quickly.
Mm.
He's in Vegas, and he was like, "I still do this thing when I've had like a bad day. I'll come home, I'll smoke a bit of probably.
No, you can
I
say
don't know if
that.
I'm allowed to tell.
I don't know if it's legal in. I don't know if it's legal in
No,
Nevada,
it
but
is.
I
It
think
is.
no, it
It
is. Yeah,
is.
he's fine.
He's like, yeah. Sometimes if I had a bad day, I'll come home. I'll smoke a bit of weed, and then I'll put on the weed and cut, and just hope that I get through it this time. And it still sucks. I'm like, yeah, yeah.
I
Okay,
mean,
I get that. Yeah,
when it came out, I tried so hard to love on it,
yeah,
and I
I
found
wanted
all the
to.
good. I found all the good that I could out of it, and I
Hmm.
thought I was doing great. And then this came out and just fucked with my whole routine.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
no, Weed and Cut can fuck right off right now after seeing this. This is so much more.
Well, I said the other day, and this will probably like be my final thoughts on the film,
Yes.
and it's not even about the film. What Zack Snyder did for Justice League just now is what I hope George R. R. Martin does with the last few books after the travesty. Travesty.
I don't know. No, you're not getting those books. Just deal with it because like he's currently involved with the now three Game of Thrones spin-offs that have potentially hitting HBO. There's a
Mhm.
Wild Cards spin-off. Have you read the Wild Cards series?
No, I have not.
Okay, Wild Cards is back in the 50s. An alien race drops a virus over New York City, and it
Oh,
basically infects everyone, and they get they either 1% of them get superpowers. 90% of them get. I think no. I think it's like 50% of them get mutations, like, and they become
right,
mutants, and
right,
the rest die.
right.
And so you've got this 1% of superheroes fucking flying around, and then you got all these like mutations who are living in slums and stuff like that. It's a really interesting dynamic. They made like 20 something books, and they're written by some of like sci-fi royalty.
Right.
It's an amazing series of books, and they're adapting that for a TV show as well. So
Cool.
I don't like. I mean, despite him saying it's coming, I don't know if we're going to see those books.
Come on, Dave. We'll get him, and everything will be corrected.
I don't know. It
I
didn't work
have
for Star Wars. I don't know if it's going to work for Oh, that'd get me a buzz.
Zzz. Yeah, but yeah, watch it if you got 4 hours, or even if you don't have 4 hours, just watch it as an
Watch it an hour at a
in.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
it's it's
totally
there.
worth it. All right, I feel like we've sold this as much as we can. This was a great special edition, which is actually almost as long as an episode we do of the podcast. So
This is. I feel like we've done the thing that annoyed me about the Grease 2 conversation, and I will bring up Grease 2, where I don't know that we've had too much opposing views on this film. We've just loved on it for an hour and a half straight.
I don't know if you can hear that, but I just buzzed you.
I could. Well, I'll drink my coffee.
Drink it all and you can't pee.
No,
Cool.
it's yeah.
Well, thanks for dropping in. That was great. And yeah, that was Zack Snyder's Justice League. Give it a watch.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.